Hello guys, this is my language ZATAN. In this video I will explain how pronunciation works. It's a quite complex system based on Romantic languages like Portuguese, Galician, Spanish, Catalan, French, Italian, Latin, Romanian, and even Esperanto. Yeah, I used Esperanto as base. Okay, so vowels are not only divided into stress and non-stressed, unstressed. I mean, they can be pre-stressed, stressed, post-stressed, and unstressed at all. And also nasal. They actually change their sound when they're in different states of stress, you know. These ones I just said. So, the unstressed A, the unstressed and the post-stressed A is E is E, I is U, like in IPA, O is U, and U is When they're nasal, A is E is I is E, O is O, and U is O. And the only rule for you to know where's the stressed one, first diacritics. It's kind of obvious, but if there's no diacritics, it's the second to last one, the second to last vowel ever, second to last vowel. But if the word ends in a nasal, the nasal attracts stress, you know. It also happens in other Romantic languages. So we have quite a lot of sounds for the same letter, you know. A can be A and also when it's next to a nasal, and always next to a nasal. It doesn't care what accent what diacritic you're gonna use above the A. It will always have the sound of when it is before a nasal and or M or XN. I'll talk about this later. So these letters have these sounds when they are in the end of a word, but there's quite complex vowel harmony system. It forces the stressed vowel to change its sound due to the last vowel, which carries its unstressed sound. Okay, so if you have a word that ends in A or I, A is gonna have the sound of A, the open mid unrounded vowel. When the last vowel is E, O, or U, A is gonna have the sound of the schwa, you know, the schwa. But what if I want the A to have the sound of A, even if the word ends in U? So we're gonna use a diacritic. Look at these. If you use the acute, A is necessarily going to sound like A, the open mid. But if you use grave or the circumflex, it's gonna sound schwa necessarily, and it varies from word to word. Circumflex usually is often used with nasals. If you use circumflex after a nasal, you're going to change its stress syllable. As I told you, nasals attract stress when they are at the end. So often you'll have to change the stressed syllable due to the final nasal. Okay, letter E also have more than one sound. Letter E also have more than one sound. I, O, U, it will have the sound of A. A, the sound like A. Very open. A. If it ends in E, it will sound like E too. And the diacritics, grave, it makes the sound of A. Acute, A, and circumflex, E. Usually circumflex is used with nasals, okay, but their sound won't change. They'll still be nasalized, like E, I, O. Okay, I hope you were able to pronounce this, because that's how the language works. I, the letter I is kinda critic. The letter I is dangerous when it ends in a. When the word ends with O, which is a rounded one. When a word ends in O or I, which are the two round ones, okay, the two round ones. I'm gonna make the sound of U, the Y in IPA. Well, with the rest of the letters, it's gonna sound like normal E. Okay. When I forgot to talk about diacritics. We have two forms for the letter for the sound U, which is Y. The actual Y in IPA will make the sound of IPA Y. Kind of funny, but you can also use I with grave, but there are some rules. I'll explain later about Y. Okay, about Y and I grave. With A, E, and U, or U, it's gonna sound like normal E. And you're supposed to use an acute. Yeah. O, letter O. With I, E, and U, it's gonna sound like O. The normal O, like in Japanese. O. With A, it's gonna sound like ah, more open. Ah, open. Ah, like in odd. Open, not open. Odd. It's gonna sound odd. The difference in O, it's gonna sound oo. The critics. Grave will make it sound O. Acute will make it sound ah. And circumflex will make it sound ooh. I forgot to mention that I has no circumflex. You're supposed to use an acute. Circumflex and nasals only apply for A, E, and O, not for I and U. And finally, the letter U. When the word ends in I, so if a word ends in E or U, U's gonna sound like it's a quite uncommon vowel, but it does exist in some romantic languages. Some romantic languages do have the sound. If a word ends in I or O, the U is gonna sound like ooh, the normal ooh we know. So how are you supposed to remember this? Well, first, it's not hard to remember at all because it has some logic. It's based on openness and similarity between vowels and roundness, so not that difficult to remember. Not that difficult. Not that hard. Use the critics, yeah. If you want the sound, you use grave U, U sound, acute U. U does not have circumflex. Let's start with the consonants. We have quite not strange, it's very romantic, you know. If you speak any romantic language, you'll see some things here that fit, you know, with the other romantic languages. See, if the next letter is A or O or U or any other letter, it will make the sound of k. The K, velar plosive, unvoiced velar plosive. Yeah, messed the order of the words. But if it is E or I, it's gonna make that cha, the muchachos sound. If you want the k sound, you're gonna use the letter K. If you want the ch sound, you gotta use the digraph CH, like in Spanish. Cha cha cha. G works like almost the same, but it has something to do with Q. There are some rules about G and Q. I'll talk about them later. But if you have a G, then the letters A, O, U, etc., it will sound like g, the voiced velar sound. Voiced velar plosive, yeah. Voiced velar plosive. And if you have E or I, it's sh. Like in shore, shut. I don't know. For everything sound. If you want the velar, the voiced velar plosive, you can use GU or QU, but there are some rules, and if the rules say nothing about it, it varies from word to word. Again, yeah. You'll have to memorize some of them. I'll talk about QU later. And if you want the sound sh, like the SH, you're supposed to use GH. Sh. Isn't it beautiful? I think it sounds pretty beautiful. Sounds good. I think it sounds good. Age in Romantic languages usually has no sound, but you know, German influence, German influence, English influence actually made age in this Romantic language sound like age in IPA, but like CNG in front of A, O, and U, it will be silent, just silent like other Romantic languages. And this is called the bad age, the one that you can listen to because it does not have any sound, and you are supposed to remember when you have to use age. Yeah, it's strange. It's kinda hard to remember. Well, I think it's hard sometimes. Sometimes I don't remember if a word starts with age or doesn't. Well, but with E and I, it will make the sound the hi ho, hey. And if you want the sound age, you're supposed to use XH. So soon you'll see why. Okay, so the QG rule, and I mean the GU rule. U is gonna sound silent sometimes in front of E, I, O that sounds like oo, and U that sounds like oo. I'll call them ocircumflex, ocircumflex, and uvacute. Ocircumflex and uvacute. Okay, so it gets more clear of what I'm talking about. But it won't sound silent. It will actually have a sound, which is what the bilabial approximant, with the letters A, ovacute, O grave, and U grave, and etc. So if we have the QU-GU silent or not rule, we can define what kind of sound Q is gonna make. If it is in front of silent U, it's gonna have the sound G, like G. But if it's not silent, it's gonna have the K sound, the K sound. As you might know, if you really want the voiced velar sound, you're supposed to use G or GU if necessary. If you want the unvoiced velar sound, you can use C or K, depending of each case. If you want a really voiced U, a non-silent one, you're supposed to use W. Yeah, this language does have W, not U umlaut. I think it's fine about G and Q. Let's talk about S. S is quite complicated vowel, but simple at the same time. It works like other languages, other Romantic languages, where between vowels or next to voiced consonants, it will make the sound of Z, the Z, the voice alveolar fricative. No? If a word ends in S and the next word begins with a voiced consonant or in a vowel, it will also sound like Z in IPA. If the letter S has any kind of contact with any voiced consonant, it will automatically sound like z, zaz. It's not phonemic. It's not that phonemic. Actually, it's more for convention and evolution and for making pronunciation easy. Because sometimes it gets harder to pronounce, like S and the voiced consonant. And also, Romantic languages also tend to follow this between vowels rule. But in any other case, S is gonna sound like S, the unvoiced alveolar fricative. If you really need the unvoiced alveolar fricative, you're supposed to write SS. You're not allowed to use SS in the beginning, because in the beginning with the vowel, then S does make the sound. S will automatically make the sound S, the unvoiced one. R has similar rules for its sound if it's gonna be simple or complex. I mean, it's gonna be a tap or an entire trill, you know? Ra versus ra in Spanish. Between anything, it's gonna have the sound of the tap. If a word ends in R and then the next word begins with a vowel or postalveolar sound, it is gonna sound like the tap. But the beginning, if a word begins in R but the previous word ends in a vowel or alveolar or postalveolar. When I say alveolar, I mean postalveolar too. Okay, vowel or postalveolar or alveolar. R is gonna sound simple, tap. In other cases, it's gonna sound like ra, the trill. Yeah, the trill. And if you really need the trill, you're supposed to use RR, imbecile. Okay, about Y. Now we're gonna talk about Y. Y is it's not considered a semi-vowel, but can be a consonant sometimes. Between consonants, it is a vowel. The vowel U, like in IPA, as I told you at the beginning of this video. Between vowels is gonna automatically sound the J in IPA. But in other cases, it can also sound like the W in IPA, or can be silent. Yeah, it is silent sometimes. In other cases, if not these two ones. But if this is not the case, it can be silent, W or Y. K, J in IPA, W in IPA, or silent. Some more letters that have no rule about them, but because they have constant sound, they don't change their sound at all. B, D, F, J, L, P, T, V, X, Z, and some digraphs. B is B, D is D in IPA, F is F in IPA, J is that J sound, the voiced postalveolar fricative. Not J, it's J like in French, you know? Like je, the word je. L is L, but you're not supposed to make that Spanish L or English L like L or L. You're supposed to do like a normal L, like not L and not I cannot let you see my mouth pronouncing these sounds, you know. Okay, just do the letter, just do the L you want to make, but the correct form is the normal L. P is P in IPA, bilabial plosive. T is T, alveolar plosive and voiced. V is V, dentolabial fricative. X can have, you can choose if you're gonna make H like in IPA, like the X in IPA, or R like in French. The French R in French. The R in French. R. I have some difficulty pronouncing this. So I usually do the h sound rather than the r sound. It hurts a little. Really hurts. And diagrams. Excel. Microsoft Excel. Yeah, like GL in Italian and LL in Spanish and LH in Portuguese. This is the palatal. This is the palatal sound of its lateral. Palatal lateral. And accent is palatal nasal. The palatal nasal, like ñ in Spanish, NH in Portuguese. Ñ is the N with tilde, and GL in Italian. Ña, añ, and Excel, ya, al. So, if anything didn't get clear in this video, if you have any question, if you want to know any curiosity, if you want to ask why things are the way they are, if you want to know like anything about this language, why did it start it, why its flag is the way it is, please comment. Let me know. This video not in Reddit, please, not in Reddit. YouTube, okay? I need people from YouTube, not in any other social media. YouTube, please. Okay, there will be more videos then. I'll make more videos about this language. ZATAN. Okay, I'll explain everything you want. Please comment.